and sometimes contract.
That's
and now by
only
law in Germany, for instance, it's mandatory that it's contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This would solve
But anyway,
most
you would...
of the troubles.
Sorry?
This would solve most of the troubles.
Yes,
Yes.
of course. Anyway, what you say is that you are not getting enough support in managing this. They now coming to the institute level.
Well, like, people understand the situation, they want to change it, but they can't do a thing with that. Like, I talked with one lady, and she was like, yeah, I totally understand, but I don't have source of the money, which can be used as for the contract. I can give you just some money from some resource, which can be used only this way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like there are no money. The problem is the type and how you can use it.
How you can use it, of course. Okay.
So, as I said, I have been postdoc, in fact, for 17 years. So nobody believes me, but it is possible to do it. And to be a scientist, it's very, very hard job. Nobody said it's going to be easy. And it's always an issue to get the next contract. Because once you get the next contract, you have a bit of security, and then you can plan other things. You can plan baby, you can plan mortgage. But it's never easy. Okay? But also I want to say that in all those years, I've never been treated differently because I was a woman. Ever. I never came across this problem. Okay? Because you are really judged on by your science, by your research, by your results. And in fact, in my opinion, that's the only, well, in my experience, that was always the only measure, what I came across. They didn't look if you are a female or a male or transgender these days. They didn't care if you were from which country, which background. I mean, I worked in the West before we joined the European Union. I managed to get there and nobody said anything, okay? I was equal. But what I found, if I come back to this institution, what I found a bit surprising is that there are so many people. Of course, I'm aware of Libra and I'm aware of some other projects. And here, a lot of people is really willing to talk. Okay, let's talk about science. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. But then I know to do the research and to do what you are going to be judged on, you have to work on your project, on your results, on your research. And there are so many meetings, and I have been invited to so many meetings and organized so many.
Now we feel guilty.
I'm sorry. I got help from the HR office, so I agreed because they helped me. I would come here. Okay, but this is surprising for me because as a postdoc, I have almost 20 other things to do on my list.
That's how you 20?
20 other jobs or duties to do, which
Okay.
have been added to me. Do this, do this, do this. Of course I can do them. It all takes me away from my project. So I'm really torn. What should I do? Should I just say no to everyone and focus on my research? Because I know this is what I'm going to be judged at the end. Or shall I just relax a bit? And I know I'm a bit special because I'm a returning scientist. So I was given the opportunity to return, to perhaps teach people how I have seen it in other countries. So they are also expecting me to go to these meetings, to organize the things for the students. So that's what I'm thinking. It was also part of my contract, actually, not just the research. But currently, I don't know what will happen when my contract finishes, which is 1.5 years. I do not expect faculty position. This is not happening. It's not just because you stay in one place for so long, you are entitled to it. This is not the case. Okay, there has to be opening, you have to apply if you are right. Or if you are the right person at the right moment in the right country, you might be lucky you will get it. But there is so competition and everyone can apply, so it's not automatic as it used to be.
For staff scientist position?
For staff scientist, for example, because it doesn't exist such a position anymore. It used to, but it's not like that anymore. 50 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, if you become a professor, you became a professor for life. But here you become professor as long as you bring the money in a pot. And I think that's why they're asking you to bring these ERC grants, because that's really a huge amount of money in a pot. But yeah, it is, as you said, it's unrealistic, completely unrealistic.
Okay. That's any other comment about what you, because this is, of course, the crucial issues, not at CETEC, all over Europe, in all institutes, the fact that careers do not exist in a sense. I mean, it's even though there can be some kind of support which is provided, but it's never substantial because the system is global.
It's like a pyramid. You know, you're a PhD or postdoc, you're associated professor, you run professor at the top, and people have to understand that.
That's partly true. I don't disagree with you. This is pretty obvious. But what really bothers me is that the policy changes in the institute.
Maybe
because
I have not been.
You have been not really involved in those kind of things because what I'm doing is something totally different from most of the people that are working here. I'm like a theoretician mostly, but I don't want to brag about what I've done. But in my field, I'm really good. So actually, people who don't know exact position of me think that I'm a professor in this institute. Because with the amount of publications and citations and stuff like that, it's something general belief that, okay, I'm a professor, I have a permanent position in this place. And then when I tell them, no, I'm not a professor, I'm like this. And so, how come? The institute changed the policy suddenly.
But since they care so much for funding, because for obvious reasons, why don't they, I mean, what do you say that in this case, even though you have funding, so why it's a blind application
I
of
have
rules?
no idea what is this thing about funding. You know, practically since 2014, I brought my own fund here. So I never received anything from the institute. I've been paying to the institute as like some sort of rent. I was renting an office. I was renting, let's say, other stuff. I was paying some people. And then I'm still a postdoc. You know, this is the thing, because maybe this is another issue. So there was before something called like I don't know, senior and junior researchers and stuff like that. So they had some sort of semi-permanent position previously. Not 10 years ago. It was like 2-3 years ago in this institute, and then suddenly overnight everything changed.
Okay.
There is no person with this kind of position in this institute. There are professors, and there are, let's say, some postdocs. So basically, people who had this kind of funding. So this is the case for you and you. You have your own funding. You brought it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you have also students. Maybe you are paying even to some other people.
Yeah.
But the thing is that this kind of position suddenly disappeared. So this is a problem. You know, the institute thinks that there should be a brain called professor, and this professor should produce all the ideas, and these ideas should sparkle around. And some PhD students and postdocs, which are just hand, should get this idea and form it and make some, let's say, scientific product. But this is not the way that it works. Science is like a totally, let's say, connected chain of people and interactions. Yeah, there's a professor, but there are other people in a group can also produce ideas, and you know, this is something that's not like a central nervous system in human body. It's mostly like octopus. So it is not centralized for some part. So I don't know. The institute doesn't understand this policy, unfortunately.
I just want to comment on one related issue. So when I was writing the ERC, one guy who got an ERC and who is here said that he was looking at my CV and he was giving me some feedback how to improve it. And he looked at it and he saw, okay, postdoc, Marie Curie fellow, maternity leave, postdoc. And he was like, well, this doesn't look really well at the ERC application because they are already expecting that you will have your own group, and your career trajectory is like postdoc, individual fellowship, postdoc again. Whereas for ERC applicant, they would like to see going step up and up and up.
In linear trajectory.
Yeah. So that was his critique to my CV, but I'm like, well, I'm trying. I have the PhD students, but I have to say what's true. So.
Well, maybe this guy